Now, talking about the macroeconomy, I mean the exchange rate, the interest rate, and of course the inflation rate. If I would recall, the outgoing CBN governor has always said that, of course, he's been able to achieve a stable exchange rate, a low digit inflation rate, and that there is no way he can achieve these three things at the same time, having a stable exchange rate, low digit inflation, a single digit inflation rate, and of course have a low interest rate. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with him?
You see, if you are sufficiently low on your productive scale and you are earning a lot of foreign exchange, stability in the exchange rate is not necessarily an indication of the best world that you can achieve. Okay? The important thing again is, where does growth and employment come? You have to factor growth and employment. Now, of course, when you are earning a lot of foreign exchange, it's easy to support an exchange rate by just reducing the level of infusion of reserves into the markets and so on and so forth. But what you are really not doing, you are not creating scope for more investment in the economy, you know. And stability is not for stability's sake. In the course of rapid growth, you can have gyrations of both interest rates, the exchange rate, but there is growth. And in the medium term, it is that growth that is a more certain basis for stability than monetary, I wouldn't call it manipulations, that setting targets and just, you know, where you are focused on one or two indicators alone.
Well, recently we've seen the Naira come under so much pressure, and in trying to manage the Naira, the CBN has had to draw from the foreign reserve to, you know, help stabilize the Naira, and that also has its implications on the reserve. We've seen the reserve has continued to deplete. Now, some economists believe that what the CBN needs to do right now is to actually adjust the Naira band, and once they do that, it will help shore up the reserves. And if they allow it to be done later, then it will lead to devaluation. However, we heard the incoming CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, during his screening say that devaluation of the Naira is not an option for him. What's your take on that?
Well, there are economists and there are economists. Sorry about that. But what I want to see, let me start with what I had said at the onset. You see, you have to posit yourself where you are in the whole continuum of development, you know. We are not really at the point where you set a band, a narrow band for fluctuation of the exchange rate, irrespective of what is happening in the rest of the economy. Some of these concepts actually already presume where you already hit, if you can say, optimal growth, optimal stable growth at optimal capacity utilization of various subsectors of the economy. But where you have sizable underutilization, your side should be more focused on how do you activate this unused capacity while managing to keep volatility or fluctuations to the barest. Because you see, the ordinary saver or investor needs to have some comfort in the stability of these indicators, interest rate, exchange rates. But the general economy can only grow if you are activating new forest facilities, new mining facilities, new manufacturing, new agricultural facilities. So how do you do this? And of course, when you are doing this, the idea is to encourage investment flows that are induced by the rate of return, where the benefits that will be derived from unleashing such capacities will more than cover the cost. We are not talking about where you now fly to reserves to fund them, but where resources are coming in, and due to the term structure of those resources, to the gestation of the investments envisaged, which will vary from very short term to very long term. Those are the things that you have to keep in view, and not necessarily ignoring those things and just focus on creating a narrow band where you are as it were, you are pumping in and pumping out. I used to make jokes about this because, as I said, part of this thing arises from our not fully being cognizant of where we fit in into the whole spectrum of development. The whole focus of development should be, creating the right manpower, keeping them active.
I still want to take you back to what the incoming CBN governor said about devaluation of the Naira not being an option for him. I really want you to react to that. What are your thoughts?
I'm sure he didn't put it the way it sounds. You see, like I used to say, any rate of exchange at any given point in time is neither our national anthem nor our national flag. It is not a sacrosanct entity, something cast in stone. You see, devaluation applies to official change in the price of the Naira. It's different from depreciation. Now, if you do not officially adjust because of changes in prices in reaction to changes in demand and supply, it doesn't mean that your Naira is where you say it is. It means that you may have reason to wait before you officially sanction a change. But depreciation, like it happens in the marketplace, is a function of the factors, all the myriad factors that affect the supply chain and the demand chain. It is not an economic statement, in other words.
So what would be your general advice to Mr. Godwin Emefiele as he takes over the office of the Central Bank Governor?
Well, I was very supportive of the incumbent, of the past governor, because of the essential things he came in to do to more or less stabilize some of the very deleterious effects of previous regimes. You know about that. I talked about this in various interviews and so on. At this stage is to be able to identify what are the things of concern to the economy now. The things that are of concern to the economy, I know we are fighting to keep inflation within manageable limits. And we are putting that emphasis on maintaining the value of the Naira. Now, the way you can maintain the value of the Naira, as I said, is not just by tightening interest rates, tightening demand, so that, I used to make the joke of, well, what you may have to do is line up some troops outside the CBN to shoot all those who are coming to ask for foreign exchange. Of course, you don't want to do that sort of thing. You look at all the ways you can amplify your resources. You stop the leakages. Massive leakages continue. You rationalize your budgetary systems. Then you mobilize resources. And some of these resources mobilized can go directly to those who need the foreign exchange. They don't have to come to the central bank. I'm seeing lots of that going. The other day, the Lagos state government is accessing 200 million from World Bank and so on. The ADB is there. So many other institutions are there. And they know that this place needs a lot of those resources because we haven't got anywhere, frankly, despite all the very nice things we're saying about where we'll be in 2020 or 2025. The fact remains that our infrastructures are still totally inadequate. Our manufacturing are almost non-existent and shrinking in relative terms. Our agriculture needs modernizing to go from just producing fruits and cassava and yams and whatever to all the value-added components as you have in the manufacturing sector. We need to support the energies that we see in the service sectors, in tourism and so on, and transportation. We need a whole lot of resources. So I would think that working with government, part of the stabilization is to make sure that we are able to access resources that make sense. They make sense in the sense that whatever we get must be fully covered by the benefits that we are getting it for. This has been the lacuna that we've had from the very mid-80s up to now. So you need a very broad, if you like, the word robust, with a very broad approach to to maintaining the value of the Naira. It's not just a function of tightening interest rate or tightening the liquidity and so on and so forth. It has to be combined with all these other sources of supply of foreign exchange to the system.
All right, thank you very much. It's been an interesting conversation.
Thank you.
That was Dr. Kalu Idika Kalu, a renowned economist and Nigeria's former Minister of Finance. And just before we go, it's important you note this. Effective leadership is an important skill in the professional arena. A skilled leader is a strong communicator, motivator, and problem solver. Building teams, motivating employees, assessing client needs, and managing conflicts are some of the critical tasks of a leader. Here are some strategies for being a successful leader in the workplace.
Understand the vision of the business or project and keep it at the forefront at all times. Prioritize the success of the organization over personal interests in advancement. Recruit talented people by identifying the needs of each position and matching them with workers who are skilled and passionate about the work. Deal with issues as soon as possible. Act decisively. After weighing all important factors, avoid unnecessary delays in making decisions. Treating everyone with honesty and respect increases their trust in your ability to lead. Examine your intentions when offering criticism. Always consider the impact of your words and whether they will lead to the good of the worker or situation.
And with those tips, we say thank you for being with us on this edition of the program. Let's have your feedback on Business Incorporated at channelstv.com. And don't forget to keep a date with us, same time next week. I'm Chimezi Obiwagu. Bye.